Switched to Effordent.
Effordent is now accepted by the American Dental Association. Effordent removes even stubborn stains between teeth.
You and Channel 9, we've got the touch.
This CBS Sports Special, the International Race of Champions, is sponsored by Chevrolet, who invite you to see, drive, and live today's Chevrolet. Budweiser, for all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Goodyear, makers of the high-performance radio, the Eagle.
For the second straight year, rain here at the Alabama International Motor Speedway has eliminated the third round of 4 races planned for the International Race of Champions. Showers commenced before daylight. They've continued through the day. And therefore, on today's program, we'll be showing you highlights, both from the race at Mid-Ohio as well as the Daytona International Speedway earlier this year. Hello, I'm Ken Squire. In this hour, you'll also be meeting some of the superstars of IROC 85. For the moment, let's take a look at the standings with 2 races complete. The stock car king, Darrell Waltrip, up on top with 31 points. Just 1 point behind him is the Indianapolis car driver. A bit of surprise here, Bobby Rahal in second. Then a 3-way tie for third place. Ireland's John Watson, he of Formula One fame, tied with IndyCar drivers Tom Sneva and A.J. Foyt, and then comes the very versatile Mario Andretti. Further down in the standings comes Derek Bell, Jochen Maas, Harry Gant, Cale Yarborough, last year's champion, well back, and out back, Terry Labonte and Tom Gloy. Working with us, the editor-publisher of the National Speed Sport News, Chris Economaki, your overview of what we've had thus far.
Well, I think the series has been very interesting. The fact that the stock car drivers have not done as well as they've done in recent IROCs. So Darrell Waltrip does lead. He's pressed hard by an Indianapolis car driver and a road racing driver, and then that tie behind means that this series is doing what it's supposed to do. Which series will supply the winner? That's the big question. Another interesting factor is the speed at Daytona, 180-some miles an hour for the winner. The speed at Mid-Ohio for the winner, almost 100 miles an hour less, 83 and a fraction miles an hour. But both races were equally interesting. I think with $520,000 at stake, with $150,000 going to the winner, the final race on August the 10th at Michigan International Speedway is going to be really interesting.
That's right. Saturday, August 10th, we'll show you the decision maker for 85. For the moment, let's take a look at some of the highlights thus far this year and go to Daytona. We'll join the race in progress at lap 12. Coming around to complete lap number 12 at the Daytona International Speedway. A.J. Foyt is first. Cale Yarborough second. Terry Labonte in third. But the man on the move with one of our onboard cameras continues to be Darrell Waltrip. Here he is working on Bobby Rahal in fifth. That's Waltrip in sixth. He's snookered down on the inside. Sometimes they come in a straight line and they just flow out like a pack of playing cards as they come into that first turn.
I'll tell you what's unique about this thing is everybody's car seems to be leveled out up there, and they're running about where they want to be. And every now and then somebody like Darrell will jump out and want to go, and he's got to get him a partner to go with him. Chris?
You know, Mario Andretti was just in the pits again and getting out of the car, but Cale Yarborough last year finished last in the opening round and came back to win the title. So don't count Andretti out.
Tell Neil Bonnet about it.
That's exactly right. Those points really count up.
Let's go to Ned Jarrett with Mario Andretti.
Well, Mario's standing here talking to Jay Signori, the vice president in charge of preparation of these IROC cars, trying to determine exactly what the situation was. Mario, do we know now what happened?
I don't know. The engine is missing and just can't get the rev.
Jay, do you have any thoughts on it?
We don't know. We thought we could fix it, but now it must be something internally in the engine. We can't get our RPM.
Well, Mario, I know it's tough this very first race to fall out this early because you were looking so forward to it.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it for sure. You know, it's a great disappointment, no question.
But he still will be in there the next time, Ken.
And indeed, Cale dropped out in round number 1 last year and came back. 9 cars are running up in front. The black car at the end is Tom Gloy. He almost ran it right up to the wall.
I'll tell you, this is what we need right here. We need these cars side by side and get a little shuffle going on and see who can move up.
Waltrip trying the high side. Sneva cut him off. Rahal down on the inside of the red car. Looks like Neil Bonnet kind of moves out there.
Looks like fun, Ken. I've been enjoying sitting here with you, but I'd like to be in one of those cars.
Neil, is about 10 car lengths between the third and fourth place car. Is there any drafting value that fourth place car has at 10 lengths behind the one in front of it?
These cars here will get a little bit of a pull, Chris. What's happened is these cars are so aerodynamic and so slick that they put a little bit more rear squall on it, not so much to make the car stable, but to put that draft behind them, to put a little bit of wind up in the air to open up the drafting area. And these cars will pull back up in about a block or blocking it back half behind.
Front three cars, Chris, are pulling away. The front three getting just a little bit of an advantage through the first 10 laps of competition. They're averaging 181 miles an hour, 181.8.
Here we go.
Oh, trouble down here in turn. Car crashing. Going into turn number 1. It looks like Tom Gloy upside down. As he came through the tri-oval, Tom Gloy getting loose, got the wind underneath it, and away it went, still sliding.
And the engine's on fire, it looks like there. He's going to have to get out in a hurry.
Tom Gloy upside down as he came through the tri-oval, the 18-degree banking.
That shows how tremendous the aerodynamic forces are at these speeds, Ken.
Now he has gone all the way to turn number 1. That's 1,600 feet upside down. Gloy in that car, number 11.
Coming out now, Ken.
Tom Gloy climbing out.
Hey, looks pretty calm.
Destroyed. IROC Camaro. Gloy walks away.
I tell you what, Ken, when I first saw the accident and saw it get on the roof, that didn't concern me a bit. You know, there's always concern, but these cars, the structure of these things will withstand something like that. That fire is the only factor that gets to be a problem. These cars can take a roll like that or pretty good lick off this wall. There's good construction here.
The Trans Am champion last year, really getting a surprise ride. Floyd's normal running speeds are far lower than you go at this racetrack here. I wonder what went through his mind when the car just flew up in the air and did that lazy rollover and came down on its roof.
Had a long time to think about it.
I'll tell you, you know what's unique that's been happening the last few years? The cars are turning over what we call the wrong way. When they're rolling, sliding in one direction, you look for them to roll in that direction. The cars are catching air on them and flipping up like a parachute and parachuting backwards.
Let's take a look at replay of what happened to Lafayette, California's Tom Gloy. Here they are coming through the tri-oval. It's the black car in trouble right in the center of the tri-oval. Lifts the opposite way and starts this incredible slide all the way into the first turn.
I tell you what, Ken, you know, when you see something like that, if you're not inside the sport like we are, it looks terrible, and I'm sure it's a bad ride for him, but just thank goodness the construction of these cars will take something like that.
The amazing thing about it is, though, is the driver is absolutely helpless. There's nothing he can do to change what's going to happen.
Another angle here.
Well, if you look at those front wheels, he was doing everything he could, but he's fixing to take a ride.
Yeah.
And that's what's hard to believe, is that the cars will actually lift like a fall on an airplane and go in the opposite direction.
Yeah. Tom Gloy upside down. That is still the best advertisement you'll ever see for a seatbelt. Gets out, not a scratch. Remember, yellow laps will not count. Caution laps do not count. And we'll be back with more of the 1985 Round 1 of the International Race of Champions from Daytona Beach, Florida, in a moment.
Today's Chevrolet lets you live Camaro your way.
Take a curve, grab a gear, running strong, freedom here as the road rolls on.
Down the road, in the sun, running free, just for fun, it's all in your hands.
Camaro Z28, IROC C, Berlinetta, and Sport Coupe. Live it your way from today's Chevrolet.
Drive today's Chevy, live today's Chevy.
Live it.
Chevy.
To everyone who loves the thrill of Grand National racing, Budweiser is coming at you with Double Thunder. NASCAR legend Junior Johnson leads two of the hottest teams to hit the circuit.
This Bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
The Junior Johnson Budweiser Chevys are roaring your way with Double Thunder.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
To fully understand how Goodyear Eagle high-performance tires alter the driving experience, we urge you to read the Special Operator's Manual before you drive. The information it contains may contribute significantly to the performance of the properly equipped car. Goodyear Eagles. The tires engineered for cars with the proper qualifications.
In my line of work, your insurance isn't on a piece of paper. It's up here, and it's in your equipment. For AC Delco, test pilot Chuck Yeager.
With all the technology that's built into today's cars, I just don't trust mine to anything but AC filters. An AC oil filter can help protect your gasoline engine for up to 15,000 miles. An AC air filter, up to 30,000 miles. Never wait for trouble. Protect your car with AC filters.
Call 800 AC Delco for a retailer near you.
Back here at Talladega, Alabama, it continues to rain. That rain has caused cancellation of round 3 of the 1985 International Race of Champions. Hello, I'm Ken Squire with you, and you're now looking at what everybody's doing today on a rainy day in Alabama, watching TV. Some of the International Race of Champions stars, the mechanics that put the cars together, watching the highlights of both Mid-Ohio and Daytona as we present them to you here in this one-hour program. There is Derek Bell. 1 year ago here at Talladega, he had his moment, and it wasn't a very pleasant one. As you'll recall, we were rain delayed for several hours, finally got underway. Derek Bell was in the white car. You were inside Neil Bonnett's car here. He was in contact with Benny Parsons in the black car. The ricochet put Bell into the wall, and that was his first appearance on a super speedway, tearing his car to pieces. Since then, Derek Bell has been in several more International Race of Champions events, both on the road race circuits as well as on the ovals. And Derek is back here this year, standing by at this moment with Ned Jarrett.
Well, Derek, every time you see that thing, I'm sure you have some goose pimples come up on you.
Just a few, yes. It happened rather quickly, didn't it?
Is it true to the rumor that you caused this rain here today so you wouldn't have to run out here?
Not quite, no. I was really rather looking forward to it. I had a few lessons in the week to try and improve my ability on the ovals, and I was really looking forward to having a run today. So I'm very disappointed.
Being one of the greatest road racers in the world, of course, this is quite different, and your experience in the past has been road racing, and it's quite commendable that you would take it upon yourself to go to a driving school to try to get yourself better on the super speedway.
Well, I thought that I needed a few, I needed something to sort of help me a little bit. I felt happier at Daytona earlier this year, and I knew that I would like to have done better than I did last year. I finished 6th in the championship, so I felt that I really wanted to try and improve on that. And so I told several guys, said, you ought to try old Buck Baker's place down there at Atlanta. So I went and had an hour with him the other afternoon in between rainstorms. It's a bit like here, but he gave me a lot of confidence. He could just give me a few tips. But my problem is not running around on my own. I can go around here perfectly happily at whatever speed they put me at, but it's in the traffic, and you're drafting, as you call it. We call it slipstreaming, and I find actually slipping out and overtaking and getting it to advantage. I usually pull out, sort of overtake, and slip back to 12th place from 6th, It's a bit hard.
Well, Ken, he would rather run this race today because he's certainly in contention for the championship, but only running 3 races, that's going to cut his chances down.
Indeed it will. It'll bring him back to Michigan on August 10th. You'll see it here on CBS. Let's go back to Daytona now in February and see the action of the last 11 laps. 29 of 40 laps have now been completed in the 1985 first round of the International Race of Champions here on CBS. And here's how they're deployed. A.J. Foyt maintaining first. Last year's winner of the IROC Series, Kaylee Arborough, is in second. Tom Sneva hangs right in there in third. Darrell Waltrip is in fourth. And then just a few car lengths back in fifth lies Bobby Rahal. In the 6th position is Gant. 7th is Bell. 8th is Joachim Maas. And 9th is John Watson. They're the leaders going into turn number 3. Nobody seems to want to make a move out here. 4 races. The big payola comes at the end of all 4 events. There's money to win here today, $5,000 to win this race. Nobody willing to give that spot up and let somebody else take a slingshot at you at the end of it.
Ken, when you get to talking about the points and the money, I look over my shoulder here and I see the car of Mario Andretti sitting on pit road. I always told Coach I was going to run those things till the starter quit pulling it. Those things, there's been 3 cars fall out of the race, and that thing will be 3 positions up right now. So I'd run those things till they quit.
10 laps to go. So they're going to have to start making up their minds about what to do, when to do it, and more importantly, how to do it.
Now, as opposed to the Grand National stock cars that have been running at some 200 miles an hour in 1985 at Daytona, these cars at 185, we could stack them 3 or 4 wide, couldn't we?
That's right, and I've heard Chris mention earlier about seeing the pass on this flat part of this racetrack down here. And what is unique about these cars is you can drive them down that flat. and have a calculated chance of getting back through there. So I don't doubt if they stay this close that we won't see somebody on the apron of this racetrack coming down to win this race.
Who's it going to be? One of these five. Foyt, Yarborough, Snevo, Waltrip, Bobby Rahal, all hanging in there together as we take a look at the race summary to date with 31 complete of 40. It's been A.J. most of the way. Cale cooling his heels in second place, just waiting his time out. Road racers are further back. There you see them. There's Harry Gant, who seems to be off his speed with that car right now. That is the typical Harry Gant performance. Jochen Moss working on the inside of him. Jochen, who won a Formula One race in Spain several years ago in his first opportunity at a super speedway. Hanging right in there, inside of Harry Gant, as they maneuver through turns 3 and 4.
Looking at the nose of his car, I don't see any of Floyd's black paint on it.
Gant pulls in behind Derek Bell. Leaders once again. Front 4. Voigt just stays right there. He's won the Firecracker 400 at Daytona on 2 occasions. One here in 1972. Now you're back with Waltrip. Darrell Waltrip closing to the back straightaway. Pulls up as if he wants to make a move on Sneva going into 3. That's still one of the super places to pass, but if you pass in 3 in this race, you may get repass coming to the tri-oval.
Yeah, and I think that was a little peek at things to come there. As you noticed, that car accelerated off of that corner, was really had some momentum up, and then all of a sudden it fell in behind there. I feel like all these cars right here are going to be able to make a good run at the win at the end of the race.
As you watch these cars and you watch inside Waltrip's cars, you don't stiff-arm these cars. You really let them take their own head like a horse and loosen up on the bridle here.
And anytime you move these steering wheels around these cars and those wheels aren't directly in line, it scrubs speed off. The thing to do is it's hard to do, but let that steering wheel just float in your hands and just barely move the car around. And try not to slow it down. Let the car go where it wants to.
You know, Cale Yarborough is now starting to test out things. He's following Foyt first on one side, and then on the other side, and then in the middle. He's sort of making up his mind where the best road is going to be for when he decides to make his move.
A.J. Foyt, who started 9th, leads. Cale Yarborough, who started 6th, is in 2nd. As we get down to the final moments of this, Tom Sneva, who has come from 6th, now lies 3rd on the field. 34 of 40 laps complete. Back they go for turn number 1, and there are 5 candidates to win round number 1.
You know, A.J. Foyt's out front right now. He's started 18 individual IROC races and has won 2 titles, but he's only won 1 race in Michigan back in 1978. So this may be win number 2 for him if he can keep that coffee light-colored car out front.
Yarborough taking just a tad lower line into turn number 3. There's that little bit of a bump in turn number 4, and since they changed Calamity Corner, that bump doesn't look quite the same as it used to for some reason.
Ken, the people at the Speedway have done an excellent job on working on this thing to try to get it safer. We were having so many problems coming off that corner, now they're getting it straightened out.
35 laps complete. Down to it. Cale Yarborough, 1984 winner of the International Race of Champions in the 4 rounds a year ago. A.J. Foyt won it in 1976 and 77, battling it out, and Tom Sneva lies right there in 3rd. Waltrip maintaining 4th. Backstretch, laps running down. Outside there you see Waltrip moving in on Sneva, and Waltrip trying the high side. Get some idea of the coordination and the sheer guts it takes to put one of these cars around this 31-degree banking.
Yeah, that looks awful nice for somebody to do that, but when you get up there and run out of real estate, you got about a foot left between you and that wall. It's a pretty good handful.
You know, Neil, in many other forms of racing, power steering has been brought onto the car, but we don't see that in these cars. How tough is it to turn those wheels at these speeds?
These cars drive just like a car without power steering, with a belt off. They're very hard to steer, but for this shorter race, the drivers prefer not to have it.
A.J. Foyt first, tailgating. Cale Yarborough 2nd, Sneva still there. Waltrip, who has already taken a shot on the outside just to let Sneva know that he's around. Let's see if he'll try something inside. Maybe he threw him a dummy there, just pulled up on the outside.
I know last year in Michigan, I kept trying Cale several different ways, and it took 6 moves to figure out what it was going to take to win it. These guys are playing games right now. We'll see their final hand in a minute.
Rahal watches back in 5th. Now there are 37 laps complete. There are just 3 circuits to go around this 2.5-mile famed Daytona International Speedway. Supertech's A.J. Foyt, who earlier this year was part of a victorious team in the most prestigious sports car race in the Western Hemisphere, the 24 Hours of Daytona. He's right back up in front in the way he likes it.
I tell you what, A.J., the Porsche, the Oldsmobile for the Daytona 500, anything he climbs in, he's going to get after you pretty good. He's doing a heck of a job right now.
4-time winner of the Daytona 500, Cale Yarborough, lies right there in second. And here's Sneva. He's looking great in this event.
Sneva's had trouble in all cars other than Indy cars, and he really wants to do well in this stock car event.
And in the Northwest, from which he began, he had stock car experience, and he's always come in here and wished he had just a little better car at Daytona in major events like the Daytona 500. But right now, he's got one that looks like it has equal shapes as we get down to the finish.
2 laps to go, and let's see now what Mr. Yarborough does, where he goes, and how he starts. This is what the fans come and wait for, the knowledgeable stock car fans, waiting for the next minute and a half.
I tell you what, one person's going to make a move and dictate what everybody else does. I don't know who it's going to be, but once they have the shuffle, everybody's got to make a commitment.
And the car in 4th place can dictate the entire race.
That's exactly right.
That's the man right there, Waltrip. How he moves can set them up and actually slow down the car in front of him.
You're going to see a big shuffle here in a minute. I don't know who's going to make it.
White flag coming out. 1 lap to go. Round 1 of IROC 85 here on CBS. Into turn number 1. A.J. Foyt in front. Now dropping to the inside. Taking a look. It's Waltrip. Sneva shut the door. Turn number 1. Up on the 31-degree banking. Foyt stays first. Cale is second. The white car, Sneva third, and Waltrip in fourth. And 4 car lengths back lies Bobby Rahal in fifth. Jam session. Rahal hopes to be able to move through it.
It's time. It's time.
Here we go.
Cale to the inside. Yarborough making that familiar move. Down he goes underneath A.J. Foyt. Foyt tries to fight him off. Sneva stays right there. Where's Waltrip? Here he comes. As they come out of turn number 4, they try to stack him 3 wide. Sideways is Yarborough. He's out of control. Spinning. 3 cars in trouble. A.J. Foyt crashing. Here they come to the line. Waltrip is going to win it. Darrell Waltrip takes it home. Let's see who's going to come across in second. Sideways, it's number 1, Tommy Sneva, backwards across the line. A.J. Foyt in for third.
What a finish. It's not over until it's
not over. Here comes 4th place. 4th place at the line goes to Derek Bell. 5th place will go to Harry Gant. I've seen a few races, but oh my heart, not many like that.
What a finish.
We've got to show you that one again, dear heart. What a finish. As they came out of turn number 4, the jam session became marmalade. Rahal climbing out of his car. He ended up, as you see him get out, he is about 800 feet from the finish line. You see Rahal out. Glad to be out of it and on 2 feet. Chris, let's see if we can fathom what happened here. The purple car is Yarborough. The yellow car on the outside is Foyt. And that is Sneva down low. The blue car, Waltrip, the eventual winner.
It appears as though Sneva moved in too close to Yarborough's car. Look at his right front headlight section coming up there. And a gentle nudge. It's the kind of thing you just look at the other driver if it happened on the street. But at the great speed, it sends Yarborough sideways, and his right rear corner ticks the car of A.J. Foyt. Now, they're going 183 miles an hour right here. And those forces acting on those cars send them out of control. First one way, and then the other. Look at Sneva diving through, and Waltrip, without moving his steering wheel, heads right for Foyt's car as the windshield flies out. Now, Foyt finally gets on the brakes. You see the smoke coming off the tires. Waltrip comes through as Sneva's car spins up and Yarborough goes down on the grass.
Let's look from another angle at what happened here. And watch that blue car of Waltrip. You would think he almost got collected by Sneva's car, but he didn't. There's the windshield out. And here is Waltrip just gliding down between those spinning cars.
I didn't know I'd hit you. I looked up, thought you spinning. I said, what happened to him?
Mine. Here's 4x4 news from Chevy Trucks. Now there's low 8.8 financing on new full-size K10 and 20 pickups for an average savings of about $1,500 on 4x4 Chevys. An average savings of about $1,300 on two-wheel drive pickups. Big Chevy work trucks, 2- and 4-wheel drive. 8.8 financing on full-size Chevy trucks. Nothing works harder for your buck. Nothing works like a Chevy truck.
When the big Q flows, America goes.
Still beautiful, Dad.
Took your brother through college, take you wherever you want to go.
On Quaker State.
Right. Smooth oil flow is what you want, protects the engine. See, Quaker State starts with Pennsylvania-grade crude, delivers stable viscosity.
You get great protection with the Big Q.
Hey, how come you know so much?
From listening to you.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
This year, 1 out of every 6 cars will need to have its brakes repaired. That's why at Midas, we offer a free brake inspection. If your car needs work, you know it's being done by experts. 500,000 people a year have their brakes fixed at Midas, and we're glad to have the business. But more important, we appreciate the trust.
Trust the Midas touch.
The look is lean and trim. The car is cavalier. From today's Chevrolet. The well-honed power of a 2-liter electronically fuel-injected engine. The instinctive agility of front drive, Cavalier. It has the look and the performance for today's America. This is today's Chevrolet. It's fit.
Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy.
Live it.
Chevy.
It has a history of high speeds and close finishes. See live flag-to-flag coverage of the 17th Talladega 500 tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Continuing rain here at Talladega, Alabama, has terminated any possibility of presenting the International Race of Champions. So we'll continue to bring you highlights from the season thus far and remind you that tomorrow we're on the air with live flag-to-flag coverage following this man, Bill Elliott, in the 17th annual Talladega 500, starting at 1 o'clock Eastern. Bill Elliott qualified at over 207 miles per hour in his Ford, and Fords dominate 5 positions in the first 4 rows. There you see Cale Yarborough will be starting beside him tomorrow. David Pearson's in a Ford for this race once again. A.J. Foyt, the first of the non-Fords, with an Oldsmobile. A.J.'s here, ready in 4th position. The young Lions carrying CBS in-car cameras. Kyle Petty and Jeff Bodine will be in row 3. Then comes Joe Ruttman and Buddy Arrington, turned to lap at over 200 miles per hour in his Ford. There you see Terry Labonte and Sterling Marlin for row 5. Bobby Hillen out of Texas and Ricky Rudd will be in row 6 tomorrow when we get the green flag. 1 o'clock will be our starting time. Parsons and Earnhardt. Earnhardt, of course, has won this race the last 2 years. Tommy Ellis out of Virginia. Neil Bonnet has won a couple of races this year, ready to go for the Talladega 500 tomorrow. And as we continue to look down this lineup, we remind you this is the race of dark horses. And we'll be very carefully following Kyle Petty, Bodine, and people like Buddy Arrington in tomorrow's races. Some of the top stars who did not qualify the first day include Harry Gant. He'll be in 21st. He, too, has a CBS onboard camera. Ron Bouchard qualified 24th. Darrell Waltrip 25th. Richard Petty all the way back in 29th. And Bobby Allison will start in 38th position. Again, it's 1 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow here for CBS flag-to-flag coverage. For today, the International Race of Champions is canceled. One man who may be very pleased about it is this man, Darrell Waltrip, down there on pit road, standing by with Dick Vermeil.
Darrell, the fans just saw you win at Daytona. Spectacular finish. You won here last year in the last lap. What is it about the last lap in these IROC races?
Well, you know, you got 99 miles to kind of overlook everything, take a look at the situation and see who you're racing against or what you think they're going to do. I spend a lot of time, like I know you have as a coach, analyzing the competition. At Daytona, for instance, you got Tom Sneva, A.J. Foyt, and Cale Yarborough. Now, those are 3 very aggressive drivers. You got to believe that on the last lap of a race like Daytona, national TV, that they just may be going to do something a little unusual, and you better be ready for it. I was ready for the unexpected, and that's what happened. Well, and the same thing here.
Well, you have the 1-point lead going into now. We're rained out officially here. We're going to Michigan in 2 weeks. Will it help you or hurt you?
I think about last year. I went to Michigan. I had a little bit of a lead. I don't know, 2 or 3 points over. I guess it was Cale or Neil Bonner or somebody, and started on the pole. I was pumped up. I had a camera in my car, you know, and I'd won
Talladega, the last race, and I was all set to go, and the bearings burn out in that camera. It turned so many times watching cars go by me. So it makes me a little nervous starting first with only a 1-point lead, but better to be first with 1-point lead than to be last with no lead at all.
Well, there's 10 guys that can get after you, so you have to do well. Good luck to you. Back up to Ken Squire.
We'll look again at Andretti versus Rahal in Mid-Ohio after these messages.
I'm Mr. Goodwrench. And if you could ride under your car, you'd see the dirty, hard work your suspension system does to give you a stable, comfortable ride. In time, these parts wear, so have the suspension system examined regularly. If it's shocks you need, I'll install new GM Goodwrench shock absorbers with a lifetime limited warranty. You get them exclusively from a GM dealer who sells GM Goodwrench parts. Just stop in and keep that great GM feeling.
With genuine GM parts.
A car's ability to change direction quickly is measured by transient response. This is a Porsche 928S. Its time was lightning fast through the course. Lamborghini Countach was faster. And Ferrari 308 GTSI was even faster. But the clear winner was Chevrolet Corvette. From right to left to right, Corvette was the fastest. That's what it takes to be a new world-class champion. Drive today's Chevy. Live today's Chevy.
For over 60 years, people have trusted Rust-Oleum to protect metal from rust. Now, after helping protect things in yards across America, Rust-Oleum is hitting the road. Rust-Oleum introduces the first complete line of products formulated to prevent rust on cars. New body fillers, touch-up paints, even waxes. They all protect against rust so your car will look better longer. Nobody fights rust like Rust-Oleum.
Rain has ended any hope of running the third round of the International Race of Champions here at Talladega, Alabama. What does one do on a rainy day in Alabama? If one is at the Alabama International Motor Speedway and is a racing enthusiast, find a fellow enthusiast. Two more enthusiastic race drivers you could not find than Darrell Waltrip and Bobby Rahal, currently 1 and 2 in the standings as we move to round number 3, now scheduled for August 10th at the Michigan International Speedway. Hello again, I'm Ken Squire, and my sidekick here is Chrissy Conamacki. Chris, Mid-Ohio was round 2 this year, and it was a dandy. What about the home court advantage? Bobby Rahal had an absolutely phenomenal day there.
Well, Bobby Rahal lives just down the street from the 2.4-mile Mid-Ohio course, and he's tested there for hundreds, perhaps even 1,000 laps. He knows every ripple on the track, every nuance. And what he knew was where a driver in front of him was likely to make a mistake. And, of course, that led to the big story at Mid-Ohio, where Bobby Rahal nudged Mario Andretti out of the lead. And I think a home court advantage probably won for him, because had they been somewhere else, he would not have known just where to do the nudging.
Well, for certain, Bobby Rahal had grown up on that course. His dad had raced there. He saw his first race there and drove his first races there. And what you say is really true. He knew that course absolutely blind, and the downhill S where it all took place, there was just enough daylight, and I think afterward even Mario Andretti said he may have had a little room in there.
Well, that's true. Mario was in there pretty hard, got a little bit sideways. I'm not sure that it was deliberate, but the opportunity presented itself, and the nudge that Rahal gave him was so gentle. It's all it took, and Mario dropped to third. I think another thing about Mid-Ohio was that John Watson, the international road racer, who started 5th and came to 3rd, he was so smooth, you didn't even see him all day long, but when it was over, he was 2nd, and he's going to be a threat.
Indeed, he will be. And we'll return with round 2 of the International Race of Champions at Mid-Ohio after this message and a word from your local stations.
There are many questions to be answered at the 1985 U.S. Open. For John McEnroe, can he regain his championship form? For 5-time champion Jimmy Connors, at age 32, is he still a threat? For Yvonne Lendl, will this finally be his year? For Wimbledon champion Boris Becker, can he win on the Open's hard surface? Can Martina Navratilova keep her title from Chris Evert-Lloyd? And will Argentina's 15-year-old sensation Gabriela Sabatini be ready for the challenge? The U.S. Open on CBS Sports.
This is CBS.
Edgewater Sports Park Dragway, August 2, 3, 4. IHRA Stroll Summer Nationals. All stars: Don Prudhomme, Tom McEwen, Mark Oswald, Kenny Bernstein, Billy Meyer, Jim Head, Ricky Smith, Bob Glidden, Ronnie Sox, Rear and Morrison. Plus, Saturday, Stroll's Night of Fire, and Sunday's final eliminations. Plus, Strolljet and death-defying stuntman Ken Jordan. IHRA Stroll Summer Nationals, August 2, 3, 4, Edgewater Sports Park Dragway. Get advance sale discount tickets now at nearest ticket drop. Pontiac Trans Am, official car of IHRA.
Until July 31st at your 17 Greater Cincinnati Chevy dealers.
$317 cashback coupons on all new full-size 2- and 4-wheel drive Chevy pickups in stock.
Until July 31st, get 8.8 GMAC financing on full-size Chevy trucks. That could be a savings of over $1,500.
With free air on selected models, savings could be over $2,000 if you buy and take delivery before July 31st.
Cut the cashback coupon from the paper, then cut your deal on a new full-size Chevy truck.
Exclusively at your 17 Greater Cincinnati Chevy dealers.
Channel 9. We're in touch with you.
It's the beauty mark of American motorsports, midway between Columbus and Cleveland, Ohio, the Mid-Ohio Road Course, where round 2 of the International Race of Champions has Mario Andretti out in front, Bobby Rahal second, Watson third, Jochen Maas fourth, Bell, then Gant. Following Gant, it's Darrell Waltrip in 7th, Sneva is 8th, Labonte 9th, Coit, Bloy, Yarborough out back. If the series right now were to have a checkered flag on this race, Darrell Waltrip would stay in first. Mario Andretti would swoop into second position. Laps trickling away here in this event.
I tell you, Ken, the last 3 IROC races have been won on the last lap. The early one at Daytona this year and the 2 last year. And Rahal is going to make a race of it before it's over today. He can see Mario right through the windshield there, and he's gaining on him and doing a very good job.
Bobby Rahal in front. Bobby, what makes this road course so difficult?
It's narrow. It's going to make passing difficult. Really, I think if you don't make a mistake, you're going to be in good shape. But there's no question that it's going to put a real premium on your ability to go quickly and yet not use up the brakes and not use up the tires. If you use any of those 2 up, you're not going to have a prayer.
2 3/10 of a second, the interval between first and second now with 6 laps to go.
I tell you something, catching Mario is one thing, passing him is another. It's going to be difficult for Rahal to get by, but I think he's going to be right on him.
And the interval is closed some more. That's under 1.5 seconds now. Andretti still in front as they go back to the S's. Here they are, plummeting downhill. Very tricky part of the course. Rahal has driven hundreds, perhaps thousands of miles here. He drives for the track owner, Jim Truman, in Indianapolis car competition. Here we are, through the S's. Closing is Rahal on Andretti. Remember that John Watson lies third, Jochen Maas fourth, Derek Bell is in fifth. The International Race of Champions, where driver skill is put on a premium test, now is beginning to develop into a battle for first place, still another time.
You know, the series champion's going to get $150,000, and the second place man, $75,000. One pass can make that difference.
84 mile an hour average around this 11-turn course. 5 laps to go, this time by, and the interval has shrunk to about 7/10 of a second between first and second. Let's go to Ned Jarrett for a report.
Again, Bobby Rahal talked about the brakes and the tires that you needed to conserve. You wonder if maybe he has conserved his up to this point, and maybe as far away as Andretti was able to pull in the early going, was he using his up a little too much? Now, they have somewhat of a unique braking system on these cars. Of course, they use the disc brakes like we see on most passenger cars and also on most race cars today. But they are able to cool them with the spraying of water. Every time the driver hits the brake pedal, there is a little spray of mist that goes on the brakes on the front of the car. They also have an adjustment on them which can actually affect the handling characteristics of the car. If they want to put a little more brake in front, it brakes the back end loose a little bit going into the turn, or vice versa. So they can play with that during the race. Maybe Rahal has been playing with his and just got her dialed in.
Down to 2.5, 3 car lengths between first and second as Bobby Rahal continues to move up on Mario Andretti. Here he is charging backside of the course. Now he has to find a place to pass.
This is the section of the circuit, Ken, where the cars go faster than anywhere else on it, and it's also so tough on the brakes at the end. So tough, in fact, that the brakes fade and don't come back for another 4 or 5 seconds. It means the brakes they use right after this one. And look at this.
Rahal making his move. Rahal and Andretti going at it here. And as they fight it out. Andretti, for the moment, gets back in front.
He staved him off. This is real racing, and Andretti loves this kind of racing. He has an appetite for the wheel-to-wheel battle.
Critical turn here. This turn 1 beneath the bridge. Let's see if Rahal will make another move. Cuts down to the inside, but Andretti naturally is there. Not much of a chance to pass here. Everybody knows how to drive this part of the course. Coming off the keyhole at the very top of the course here, if you come off right, you can keep your RPMs up, perhaps 200 RPMs. You can gain or save here and give you about 5 miles per hour down to the end of this very long straightaway, and that's a critical place for overtaking. We could see a move by Rahal right here.
Mario now knows Rahal has the horsepower to pull alongside. He's going to have to change his driving style a little bit. And notice here Mario has started to hustle. He's holding Rahal at about 2 or 3 car lengths behind.
Here comes Rahal.
And that's horsepower, Ken, right there.
Swooping down, he takes a high line into the S's. Trying to set himself up for this next corner. Andretti right there on the line, off the apex, down to the bottom of the hill.
Beautiful to watch two great drivers. Notice they both are taking the identical line through this difficult portion of the course.
Bobby Rahal won the 1983 Lumberman's race here, the Lumberman's 500, so he has plenty of experience in all forms of cars on this track. But these cars at 3,200 pounds and just about equally prepared, as close as you can make machines of this nature, they're a whole different problem on a road course.
Obvious that Rahal's best shot comes on that long straightaway where his car may have just a whisk more horsepower than that's being delivered by Andretti. These engines deliver between 420 and 450 horsepower at 6,800 revs. The 350 cubic inch Chevrolet V8 engines modified for racing. Very reliable. They're in 750 cubic foot per minute carburetor on them, and they're really just right for this racetrack. There are new Goodyear radials, and all these cars, as we've been saying all along, are identical in every respect, but put together by human hands, one may be just maybe 5 or 6 horsepower better than the next one.
Less than 3 laps remaining. Bobby Rahal moves up. Remember that Watson is 3rd, Jochen Mass is in 4th, the 5th position belonging to Derek Bell, 6th is Harry Gant, 7th is Waltrip, 8th is Sneva, 9th Labonte, 10th Foyt, 11th Gloy, and 12th Cale Yarborough out back after he spun off the course into a sandbank earlier. Again, hardest braking portion of the course right here. Rahal taking a high line the last time, closing in on Andretti once more.
You know, it's interesting. Rahal
holds up.
Rahal gate. Whoa! And he spins Andretti out. How about that? Oh!
Rahal taking first. Let's see if Andretti fires and comes back out.
Well, we talked about rooting and tooting earlier. That's the first example of it. And I'm sure that we'll be hearing a lot after the race from Mr. Andretti.
Rahal now into first. Watson going to second. Waiting to find out the condition on Andretti's car to see if he will come back out.
Well, you know, that was a very, very gentle nudge that he gave Andretti.
Watson in second. Andretti is back on the track running in 3rd. Andretti in the 3rd position, followed by Jochen Mass.
Mario's not quite 2 seconds behind with John Watson in between them there.
There you see the action that took Andretti out of first place and plunged him all the way back to 3rd. Here you see Watson in the blue car. And from the in-car camera, take a look at what happened. As Andretti, Rahal moved to the inside to come up on this left-hander. Andretti moved back for the line, in contact, and away went Mario. Beautiful in-car picture of what happened as they came in contact in the S's, and Rahal now leads.
You know, our in-car cameraman had to do a lot of driving to keep that camera pointed in the right direction through that action.
Watson in second, Andretti in 3rd. Here is Andretti, currently 3rd overall, after he and Rahal were in contact. Chris, do you see any damage on that Andretti car?
I was just looking. I wonder if they made contact. It was awfully close. I just can't imagine any driver, Bobby Rahal or anyone else, psyching Mario Andretti into a spin.
You don't see any marks really on Rahal's car. Those are tough cars.
Yeah, but Rahal's right front corner looks maybe got a little souvenir there.
Indeed, he does have just a... There's the interval to John Watson in the second position. Watson has moved up into second, and there is a lap remaining on the field. One lap to go.
There is marks on Rahal's car. He hit Mario's tire. That's why there's no damage shown. There are tire marks on the right front corner of Rahal's car. The insurance adjuster will tell us all about that.
Andretti's third, Jochen Boss fourth, and a good battle developing for fifth. Led by Derek Bell in fifth. Gant is in sixth. Waltrip is in seventh. And Waltrip closes up on Harry Gant as time runs out. There you are, taking a look at Harry Gant right behind Derek Bell. That's the white car belonging to Harry Gant is running at 6. You're inside of Bell's car in 5th. And the yellow car is Darrell Waltrip, who won the first round, started dead last today, has moved through the field, through attrition, through problems, up into 7th position.
The evidence is there, the black marks, the tire marks on the right front corner of Rahal's car where he nudged Mario Andretti out of first place and perhaps out of a shot at the $150,000 Series Championship money.
Bobby Rahal coming around. Rahal moving in to win his first International Race of Champions after a major fender flammer with Mario Andretti in the S's. Watson will come across in the second position, and Mario Andretti will finish third in round 2 of IROC 1985. The two Mid-Ohio combatants had another meeting, another confrontation just 3 weeks ago, this time at the Meadowlands in New York in an Indianapolis kart race. The number 1 car, Mario Andretti, the number 3 car, the second red car, Bobby Rahal, as they came into this corner, it appeared that Rahal drop-kicked Andretti, who also got a piece of Jeff Brabham there. So now, here we are at Talladega, Alabama on a rainy day, and those two adversaries flew in on the same plane this morning. Are they talking, and what about? Let's go down to the garage area and find out right now.
Well, Ken, I have one of them on each side of them. It is not necessarily to keep them apart. They seem to be in a pretty good humor. They did fly here together today. Mario, the fans saw the two accidents, the one at Mid-Ohio and the one at Meadowlands, and I'm sure there are differences of opinion to what happened there.
Well, all I remember is I got hit from the back. And I think you saw the same thing.
The IROC race, was there any, if it had been run here today, was there any thoughts about, say, well, maybe this is the chance to get him back?
Well, I don't think that's very productive, really, because I could just spoil my chances just as well. But it's something you don't do on purpose, but in case I would ever slip up in the future, I just hope he doesn't complain very much.
Okay. Well, Bobby, you heard what he had to say there. So how did you see it?
Well, I think, you know, it's certainly nothing's ever intentional in that regard, because Mario says, you know, you can take yourself out just as easily as the other fellow, and that was the result. And as I say, it wasn't intentional. I think he knows that, and, you know, we were just racing, and unfortunately sometimes these things happen, but hopefully we're both professional enough, I know Mario is, that, you know, racing, I don't think you intentionally go out and do anything like that, because not only is there you to worry about, but the other guy, and I think you'd feel horrible if anything ever happened to the other guy.
Bobby, how do you feel? The last race, of course, now will be at Michigan. There'll only be 3 instead of the 4. Does that cut your chances of winning the championship?
Well, if there are only 3, I think it makes them better, especially having to start dead last here, and with Cale and Terry Labonte and guys like that up front. Obviously, we're at a bit of a disadvantage probably at Talladega, but no, I think probably our chances would appear to be a bit better.
Well, all of these fellows wish they could have run this race today. We'll be back to Talladega with more after this.
Maximum lateral acceleration, a test of a car's ability to hold the road in cornering. Only one of these cars can hold the road at 0.91 Gs. It isn't Porsche 928S. It isn't Ferrari 308 GTSI. It isn't Lotus Esprit Turbo. The only one that can hold the road at 0.91 Gs is the Chevrolet Corvette. That's what it takes to be a new world-class.
Third career win, 2 here on